Revenge is a natural human instinct. Many of us get some satisfaction out of seeing justice done to those who have wronged us. But what happens when those acts of revenge go beyond justice? Here are 10 acts of revenge that went way too far. Number 10 is Up in Flames. On March 10, 2015, firefighters responded to a blaze in Arvada, Colorado, only to find a giant message painted across the front of the house. The fire was intentionally started by 31-year-old William Eugene Lindauer, who was taking revenge against his 29-year-old ex-wife, Brianne, whom, if the message was accurate, was unfaithful to him. William used a can of black spray paint to write, "My wife is a cheater," on the white siding of his home before trashing the house and property, tossing patio furniture out into the street, and finally igniting the building on fire. Though her unfaithfulness wasn't confirmed, Brianne divorced her husband on February 18, 2014, and William allegedly didn't take it well. Disturbingly, the ex-couple's 2 cats were in the house, leading to an animal cruelty charge being tacked on to the several that William already had. Number 9 are Swords and Stones. On February 9, 2016, an unidentified Tanzanian man was playing a game called Jackpot inside a casino in Nairobi, Kenya, when he suddenly found himself down around $300. Wanting to continue playing, he walked up to a manager and requested a loan, but she promptly denied him. Angrily, the man walked out to his car and returned minutes later with a sword, with which he started slashing the manager. After he had taken the woman's life, one of the casino's security guards attempted to restrain the murderer, but unfortunately also fell to the man's sword. Fellow gamblers witnessed the killings in horror and chased the man out into the street, where they took some revenge of their own. Picking up some stones and debris off of the street, the small mob began pummeling him mercilessly until he died from his injuries. Number 8 is the Overkill murder. On June 4th, 2008, 30-year-old salesman Travis Alexander was murdered in his own apartment in Mesa, Arizona. His murderer was his 27-year-old girlfriend Jodi Arias, who allegedly took Alexander's life after he verbally abused her and claimed that she'd been the worst thing to ever happen to him. Though she first claimed that she hadn't even been in Mesa the night of the murder, her story changed to say that she'd killed her boyfriend in self-defense. However, this was an explanation that very few took seriously, considering when and how Alexander's body was discovered. He'd been found by some friends on June 9th, nearly 5 days after he'd been killed, meaning that she had gone on with her life while he rotted. In addition was the fact that he'd been stabbed with a knife between 27 and 29 times, and had his throat slit and then been shot in the head. Number 7 is the Full Metal Dentist. On July 7th, 1944, around 5 a.m., 29-year-old dentist and captain in the United States Army's 105th Infantry, Benjamin L. Solomon, was treating a wounded soldier in a tent just outside of the village of Tanapag in the Marianas Islands, when he spotted a Japanese soldier leap from the bushes and stab some of the injured. Flying into a fit of rage, Solomon grabbed a rifle and shot him dead, but more enemy soldiers soon arrived. With the adrenaline still pumping through him, he took them out one by one before they could finish off any of the wounded Allied forces. While medics helped evacuate the injured, Solomon kept angrily killing off every enemy that got inside the area. When help finally arrived, they found Solomon dead, laying on a machine gun, but surrounding him were the dead bodies of 98 Japanese infantrymen. Number 6 is the Perfect Frame Job. In 2010, after his ex-girlfriend, 35-year-old Simona Sumazar, refused to drop rape charges that she'd filed against him, 38-year-old Queens, New York resident Jerry Ramrattan decided to ruin her life. Calling on his knowledge of police serial dramas like Law and Order, Ramrattan set up an extensive frame job in which he paid 2 people to provide false testimonies that Sumazar committed multiple armed robberies, along with a great deal of additional evidence to implicate her. Sumazar was arrested and spent 7 months in jail before an informant came forward and finally revealed what Ramrattan had done. Sumazar was released, but by then had lost her restaurant, become alienated from her friends, and lost precious time with her 12-year-old daughter. Ramrattan was convicted of several crimes and is now behind bars. Number 5 is Boboted. On June 23, 1993, after being sexually assaulted by her own husband, John, on several occasions, 22-year-old Lorena Bobbitt had had enough. But instead of simply leaving him, Lorena waited until he fell asleep, and then she got out of bed, went to the kitchen, and returned with a knife. While John slept, she sliced off his penis at the base. As the 26-year-old man screamed and bled, Lorena got in her car, drove to a field, and hurled the appendage as far as she could. It was only then that she realized the gravity of what she'd done and called 911. Luckily for John, surgeons were actually able to reattach his penis, though the operation took over 9 hours to perform. Lorena was arrested, but was ruled not guilty by reason of insanity, while John, to make money for his legal fees and prove that he was still complete, starred in some adult films. A truly disturbing situation for all parties. Number 4 is A Pirate's Life. On August 2nd, 1343, Olivier de Clesson IV was publicly executed for treason in Paris, France. Appalled and grief-stricken, his wife, Jeanne de Clesson, swore revenge against the French crown. She sold all of her inherited lands, raised a force of men who swore loyalty to her, and began attacking French forces and estates in Brittany, France. During these attacks, she would leave only one person alive to tell the story of what happened. Soon, she had 3 ships under her command, all black with red sails, and spent her time hunting down French ships as they traveled down the English Channel. She gained infamy and was known to be ruthless, even personally beheading any person of importance that came across her with an axe. Her revenge lasted over 13 years and earned her the nickname the Lioness of Brittany. Number 3 is Complete Obliteration. It should be well known that you should never antagonize your neighbors, especially when those neighbors are Mongols. However, that's exactly what Allah ad-Din Muhammad, ruler of the Khwarezmid Empire, did in the early 13th century. The Mongol leader Genghis Khan had no intention of invading Muhammad's territory, and even sent offers for the 2 great nations to open trades. But the Khwarezmid leader decided to execute many of the visiting ambassadors. So Khan invaded, killing thousands and making an example of the leader with one of the cities by pouring molten silver on his face. To add to this revenge, after the territory was his, Khan had a dam built in order to divert water through Muhammad's birthplace, eradicating everything so there would be no physical memory of him ever. Number 2 is the Burning City. In 945 AD, Princess Olga of Kiev lost her husband, Prince Igor, when he was killed by the Drevlians, a Slavic tribe that owed him tribute. Since her son was too young to rule, the tribe demanded that Olga marry one of their own and sent her several suitors. Understandably enraged over this, the princess had the entire group buried alive. Then she requested better suitors from the Drevlians, who obliged obliged and sent them. These ones Olga had locked in a bathhouse, which was then set on fire, killing them too. Finally, after an attack on the tribe city failed, the princess requested that the Drevlians send her pigeons of peace. Upon arriving, she had hot coals attached to their feet and sent them flying home. Of course, when the birds returned home, they set their coops on fire, which wound up destroying much of the city. And number 1 is a mass shooting. On May 23, 2014, 22-year-old college dropout Elliot Rodger posted a video to YouTube revealing that he'd been rejected by several women and that he hated all sexually active men. Claiming that his retribution was coming, Rodger went on a killing spree, starting with 3 of his friends who he stabbed to death in his California apartment. He then drove to a sorority house and shot 3 women, killing 2 of them. He then continued hunting down those that he held responsible for his pain and either shot them or ran them over. Rodger killed 6 people in total, all of them students, and injured 14 more. After a brief shootout with police, he took a bullet in the hip and crashed his car. When police got to him, they found Rodger dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. So, that was 10 acts of revenge that went way too far. But if you enjoyed this, remember to give it a big thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications by clicking the bell beside the subscribe button so that you never miss a thing, because I release new videos all the time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.